Live Substack.
Yes, apparently you can no longer get a stream key unless you have a co-host, which is
Is that weird?
yes. Like if I wanted to do a show by myself, I couldn't. I couldn't run it through Restreamer.
Really?
It's incredibly irritating.
Hunter Biden's artwork isn't that bad.
It's better than Bush's.
Poor Bush.
And he's definitely funnier than Bush.
Sam put this thing on Substack that said, "Let me get this straight. Trump was able to send the National Guard to protect his precious algae, but couldn't dispatch them to the U.S. Capitol building on January 6th.
Weird how that works. All right, let me move my window over. Good morning, everybody. What's up, T-Ree? Da-da-da. Hi.
Oh, I feel like I'm even darker right now. Oh, guys, we're just gonna have to deal with my lighting situation.
I mean, you've got little planets bouncing around your head, so you're in space.
I know, isn't it funny? You see the picture there? I got that for $10 at Aldi.
The what?
The picture.
Not at all.
Oh.
Oh, wait. Yeah. All right. I can see it.
I got it for $10 at Aldi.
Nice.
Yep.
It's funny. Nathan's room kind of looks like Jordan's room, just planets hanging from the ceiling.
Oh, yeah.
Although in Jordan's case, they're like inflatable ones, so the sun is literally 3 feet wide.
That's what I would love to get for him.
I'll have to see if I can figure out where we got this set. I don't know if we got it online or if we picked it up in the store, but they've been hanging now for about 4 months and they have yet to deflate.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, because he loves some space stuff. But I'll be honest, like lately he's been so into Minecraft. I can't wait until school starts again. Like I can get him. Over the summer I try not to be too militant about his screen time because I remember when I was a kid, I was like just chilling in the summer.
It was, if I wasn't playing video games, I was out on the street unsupervised.
Right, so I try not to be like, oh, you can only have 3 hours a day, even though I know technically like too much screen time isn't good for his development, but he is very smart already, so
as long as he's not using Chat GPT to write his papers. Good Lord.
That'll be hard when his mom is his teacher.
It's like, motherfucker, I know you didn't write that.
Oh my god, do you know that I got so I'm signed up for what is the job recruiting site? Indeed. So I get Indeed emails, right, for jobs. And one of them was for the Western Journal the other day, and it was like, your experience with political writing could be a good fit for us. I was like,
I'm not familiar with Western Journal.
oh, type it into your browser.
Is it right wing?
Oh yeah, but it's like peak right wing.
Western Journal of Communication. Oh, it's the Western Journal. The Western Journal.
Oh yeah, there it is.
Defending and advancing Western civilization. Oh, Jesus fucking Christ.
Socialists plot 2028 White House run after trio of big victories.
Shock. Jennifer Aniston, other stars caught in astounding voting scandal, accidentally confirms Trump is right about ballot fraud. Okay. Oh, that's funny. Trump says Americans are being gouged by big oil companies, demands DOJ investigation.
Oh, liberalism in action. San Francisco media bemoans drop in car break-ins because auto repair shops are losing business.
I feel like that's not true.
Oh,
Ooh,
illegal alien teacher arrested after eating Aragua. I love it. So yeah, I got a thing for them. Come work for the Western Journal. I was like, I don't think so. I don't think we'll vibe.
Yeah, I feel like you won't get along too well with them.
Okay, how many people we got here? 42. Let's give it a couple of. Let's give it like another minute or two.
As climate realism arises, climate alarmism coverage is collapsing. America at 250, the biblical foundation that made a nation strong. Oh wow. You should go to apply for a job just so you can laugh at them afterwards and be like, I'll fucking know. Or just start submitting articles like that are
Here's one. Tulsi Gabbard drops pandemic bombshell on last day as DNI. Fauci lied about virus, intimidated dissenters.
Oh yeah, I saw something about that. She was trying to distract people, so she's like, "Oh, here's information that proves everything about the Wuhan lab leak and how Fauci was involved and blah blah blah." And it was like, "Okay, sweetie, you're just hoping that you don't get investigated for literally being a Manchurian candidate for a cult that eats toenails."
Bezos reportedly told Trump buying the Washington Post was a mistake. Quote, the people there are terrible.
I know they actually want to do journalism, and he doesn't want that.
Oop, they're going after the Ohio governor. Ohio GOP Governor Mike DeWine urges legislature to end the death penalty. No moral justification for it.
The horror.
Anyways, yeah, I can't do it.
A pro-life Republican would, an actual pro-life Republican who actually gives a shit about lives would be like driven out of the party in a week. It's like, yeah, I'm against the death penalty. I believe in not murdering people. What are you talking about? Aren't we pro-life? Heretic, heresy. Christ. All right, shall we get started?
We shall.
Excellent. Here we are, episode 102. Woo! This is the Opinionated Ogre Podcast, your weekly rampage through current events with a little snark, a bit of foul language, and a lot of strong opinions. There are new episodes every Thursday, and they're not safe for work or polite company of any kind whatsoever. I am your podcast host, the Opinionated Ogre, and this is my co-host, Florida Woman. Hello, Florida Woman.
Good morning, everyone.
I have to ask, and I need you to be honest with me. Are you, Florida Woman, one of the vandals desecrating Trump's perfect reflecting pool?
I am. I went there and I poured algae in it. I took it from the pond out back.
Was this part of your insidious plot to overthrow the United States? Have you stolen a paint chip? I think if less Republicans had eaten paint chips when they were kids, we wouldn't be having so much trouble right now.
I actually agree with that.
I mean, we're going to get to it, but the thing that's so stupid about the, oh my God, you touched a paint chip. It's like, so what? It's useless now. You can't, once it's detached and floating or peeling off, you can't fix that. It has to be removed. You have to strip it down, remove that paint, that coating, and then put a new coating on. You can't repair a coating that's peeling. It's not possible.
No, I don't know too much about painting pools, but when you're painting, oh my gosh, when you're painting houses, you have to sand it when it's chipping.
Yeah, so it's like, why are you yelling about, I mean, I know why they're doing it, but it's just so stupid. Like, you actually expect that to hold up in court. It's like, you vandalized the pool by stealing a piece of paint. You mean the paint that was already peeling off and could no longer be used? Sure. Technically, it's government property, I guess. What were you going to do with it? Recycle it? That's not how that works. it's going to get like all of these cases. We're going to get to this, but all these cases are going to get thrown out, and it's going to be a huge waste of time and money. It's just pure catering to Trump's fragile little ego.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
Ugh. All right. This is the recording for June 25th, 2026. So we have a lot to get to on episode 102 of the Og Pod. We ready to do this?
Yes.
Woo! All right, then let's get to it. It's time for the Oga Nation news update. Huge pause. Oh, wow. I couldn't even hear that. Close enough.
Roar.
Roar. That's what editing's for. All right. We are starting off this week. This is a story that just popped up in the last couple of days, and Florida woman sent it to me, and my head exploded. Now, I live in Arlington. It's super blue. There's lots of people with money here. I'm not one of them, but still, right? We have a fairly decent tax base, even after the regime fired a ton of government workers, because most of the people who live here are government workers in one way or another. But because we're super blue and there's a decent tax base, we have a ton of services for disabled kids and adults. Like, for instance, when Jordan graduated this year, and he's going to spend 4 more years. It's in a different school, it's in a different school, but he's going to be spending 4 years job training and working on more life skills until he's 22 years old. And then they will help him with job placement, because that's what Arlington does for its special needs residents, for the people who live here and their families. And sooner or later, we're going to need to put him in an assisted living facility, because he can't live with us forever. Jordan can't live on his own. So he needs some place where he'll be supervised. And we can't do that forever. And we can't dump it on Anastasia, because she has her own life that she's going to have to be living. She's going to be his caretaker eventually, but she can't be his full-time caretaker. And so, but Arlington has assisted living facilities. It's not fully funded by Arlington, but it's a thing that is here so family members can stay in their community. This apparently deeply offends the Trump regime, and they want to make it impossible for families to have their kids in an appropriate education setting, have continued education or job training, right? And then, of course, make it impossible for them to live in facilities, assisted living facilities and halfway homes and that sort of thing. So this is from NPR. The Justice Department released a memo this week that quietly calls into questions decades of civil rights protections for Americans with disabilities and stirred fear and anger among advocates and family. The memo, an opinion from the Office of Legal Counsel, argues that states do not have to provide in-home or community-based care to people with disabilities who need support. These services allow many disabled Americans to continue to live, learn, and work at home or in their own communities among friends and family. If you give this as an option, red states are going to stop immediately. So the goal here is to start shoving the mentally ill and the disabled either out on the streets, which Republicans love that, because then you can put them in jail, and jail is big money, right? They have lots of big donors from private prisons. So either you put them out on the streets where they get arrested, or you put them in institutions, which is something else Republicans desperately want to return to. Institutionalization is the most sadistic and inhumane way to help the mentally ill and disabled. They don't get any kind of treatment. They don't get any kind of education. They don't live a life. They're essentially prisoners, and they're either drugged, to keep them, sedate.
Quiet. Hmm.
Yeah. Or they're just locked in rubber rooms and ignored. The Back in the day, like long time ago, this is how we used to deal with disabled people and the mentally ill. We would just lock them in a room and just leave them there. They would get some food, and if they shit themselves because they have trouble toileting, that's their problem, and they would just live in their filth for days or weeks on end because these institutions were never fully funded, and the people who ran them, I mean, even the ones who did give a shit, and most of them didn't, there's only so much you can do. Okay.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of familiar with this because my really good friend Jennifer, the one who was just talking about who's moving, her sister has cerebral palsy. So when her parents got older, they had to put her into a home, I would say like in about like 1995. And she's currently in the hospital because, as you know, we're in Florida. The home that she was placed in just had like subpar care and she got sepsis.
Right. One of Jordan's special needs teachers had a child that was special needs, also special needs, and he was living full time in an assisted living facility. And mind you, this is in Arlington. So, and this is, I've written before about what a fucking nightmare it is having to think about this because I know the horror stories. This was one of them. One of this kid's caretakers, he wasn't a kid, he was like 18, but still a kid. But he decided that he was just mad one day and he broke this kid's jaw and he was nonverbal. So they
Wow.
didn't know what had happened for weeks. They figured he might have fallen because he was very physically disabled as well. So they figured he might have fallen, he might have accidentally hurt himself, but he couldn't tell anyone what had happened.
That's terrifying as a parent.
Yeah, they eventually found out, and the guy was arrested, but the kid was terrified to go back to the place he'd been living for the last several years.
Yeah, that's what, something similar happened to her during COVID. They kind of just left her in her room and she developed PTSD from it. And she's in her 50s, so, she's older. And now she just screams and screams and screams at night because she has PTSD. And last week we were actually celebrating because Jen finally found a home for her that's like really good and run by people who actually want to help her. Like with it, the person is like, well, we have to get to the root of the problem. She's not screaming because she needs more medication. So she's screaming because she has problems.
Right.
But my point about this is like Chrissy, she goes to activities within the community. She goes to work. She does all of these things, and if the Trump regime gets what they want, that's going to be impossible for her to do.
Right. And now they'll say that it's about money, that it's about, resources and, the country's broke, blah, 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 right? They'll come up with a million different excuses. What it is, it's eugenics through policy. This is all it is. It's just eugenics. They do not see the mentally ill and disabled as human.
Which we found out during COVID.
Right. And it's only gotten worse. Stephen Miller is the person, Bloomberg's reported that Stephen Miller is the person behind this new policy. And we already know Stephen Miller is quite literally a Nazi. One of the first things the Nazis did was they went and they killed tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, of children who were physically or mentally disabled.
Yep.
I forget the name of the operation, but they killed them by the truckload because they were unfit and they didn't want them to be a drain on the motherland and blah 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 blah. It's eugenics. This is who these people are. When we tell you that they are genocidal monsters,
300,000 people with physical and mental disabilities.
and a lot of them were children. It wasn't just adults. They went for babies. They either drugged them to death or they just let them starve because that's who the Nazis were. That's who Stephen Miller and the Trump regime are. They don't care. They have no humanity. So when we tell you that these people are genocidal fucking monsters, we're not exaggerating. This is not hyperbole. This is not, oh, you're just a partisan lib, blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, we're telling you exactly what it is they do and what they talk about and how they think. They don't hide it at all. Stephen Miller wants to erase 2/3 of this country so you'll have a nation of 100 million white people. That's his goal. And 100 million, white people that are physically fit. That's RFK Jr.'s entire thing is eugenics. If you give them enough time, they will actually say it out loud that we should winnow out the weak and the unfit to make the nation stronger. If you give them the time, they will actually say that because that's what they believe. They just don't say it out loud yet because they know it would be very unpopular. They are teaching people that people like Jordan, people like my son, are not human and that they should be disposed of. So, again, when we tell you that's who they are, we are not fucking kidding. And at the same time, when someone tells you both sides are the same, that's bullshit. There is nothing even remotely similar between the two parties. You can count all you fucking want about it. One side are literal genocidal Nazis who want to kill hundreds of millions of people. And then you have the Democrats who are not perfect, but you know what? They're just a normal fucking political party that you can find anywhere in the fucking world. And if that's not good enough because the other side is Nazis, so somehow I can't vote. I don't know which side to vote for. That says a lot about you and who you are. That you can look at regular political party and literal fucking Nazis and you can't tell the difference. That's a failure on your part, not the fucking Democrats. So, all right, I can scream about this for another 20 minutes, but we're going to have to move on.
It is really scary, though. Like, as soon as I heard about it, I thought about Chrissy and how thrilled Jen was to get her into a new home with, like, a better program, and how they just want to take that away. And it really is scary to think about, like, Jennifer's moving. So, we've had to switch who's taking care of her, like, who are her caretakers going to be. And it's going to be Jennifer's daughter and me. And it's just so scary to think about what they would do to the most vulnerable people in society if they had the option to do it.
Yeah. And they tell us what they want to do all the time. And then the press just goes, well, both sides really. It's really, we really can't hold the Republicans accountable because both sides. It's both sides. It's like, no, it really fucking isn't. We want universal health care. They want mass murder. These are not the same. This is not the flip side of the same coin. This is not two sides of the same thing. This is not, oh yeah, it's just equally extreme on both sides. It's like, that's not how that fucking works.
I hate it when people say that to me. I call it lazy thinking. And I'm like, that's lazy thinking. And I just can't have an argument with you. I can't have a conversation with you if that's what you believe. But anyway, moving on to the topic that we don't really want to talk about, but we have to. And in fact, we think that the reflecting poll should not be a main story and it should barely rank as a headline, but it's the perfect microcosm of the entire Trump regime. So here we are. So as you know, Trump is on his decorating Washington, D.C. tour.
Oh my God, did you see the thing? It's in fucking Haberman's book, which I obviously won't read, but he was literally personally gluing with super glue his fake gold stuff to the Oval Office walls.
No, I didn't see that.
It's like, hey, this is like Richard Nixon level crazy, and we're just pretending that it's normal.
With super glue is wild, because how are you going to get that off of the wallpaper?
They're going to have to redo the entire Oval Office. They're going to have to strip it bare and just like one day have to get the fucking stench of his dirty
Somebody
diapers.
Get me industrial size Goo Gone. We need industrial sized bottles of Goo Gone. Anyways. So that's so funny. So as you all know, Trump is on his redecorating tour because I guess that's what we do now. And he was raging about the reflecting pool and, um, pissed off that Obama and Biden had gotten quotes to do repairs and that they'd try to fix things to make it better and whatever. And he was like, I'm going to do it better. Dun, 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 dun. I'm going to do it better.
I can fix it.
It's me, guys. I'm your savior, Donald J. Trump. Thank you for your attention to this matter. And he gave the contract to one of his friends, like a pool guy. I don't know if it's the guy who did the Mar-a-Lago pool job or whatever. Or the Mar-a-Lago pool. That's what I think, that it was like the Mar-a-Lago pool people, but they say so many things that you can just never keep up with it.
Right.
So he gave the company a no-bid contract, which is really bad. And then he picked out this color called American Flag Blue, which was funny because it ended up being really dark and not looking like American Flag Blue at all.
Yeah, they did a real good job of it.
They, of course, didn't get the permits to do the work. And because it was a no-bid contract, there wasn't like a plan. The plan was basically just repaint the reflecting pool. But typically, like when there's a job of this size and this visible, the representatives for the paint company would be there. They would be part of the job. They would do testing on the surface to make sure that it was adhering correctly, to make sure that the site was prepped work. Like the representatives from the paint company would be there the entire time, because this is a big deal for not just for
and it's their product,
right? It's their
they don't
product.
want to be embarrassed.
Exactly. So for a job this big, they want to make sure that it's being applied correctly. Well, because Trump had personal ties to the company, they didn't do any of that.
And also they wanted to rush it because it had to be done in time for the 4th of July, blah, 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 blah.
Right. So they went in, they drained the pool, they sprayed it. Now, as we've said before, there's no doubt that the reflecting pool needs things to be done to it. It needs to be fixed. Obama and Biden both recognize that. But this was never fixing the pool. This was just making it look pretty for the 4th of July. And there, originally he said that it was going to cost $4 million. Well, suddenly that ballooned to $14.65 million, which is, I don't know, pretty big increase.
Just a little. What? It's for a guy who's supposed to be like this genius fucking construction guy, he can never seem to get the estimates right.
It's weird. It's strange. It's almost like he doesn't do that at all. So anyways, they then paid $1.7 million to an Ohio company to install a nano bubble system to kill the algae. So that brought the cost up to what? Over $16 million? Mm-hmm. And the Interior Department said in a statement on X, quote, "The advanced nano-bubbler technology very effectively killed the algae that has plagued every Lincoln reflecting pool reopening. most infamously, Obama's reopening since 1922. The reflecting pool water is crystal clear, and our National Park Service team is now vacuuming up the dead algae resting on the bottom of some parts of the reflecting pool, just like the destroyed Iranian Navy is resting at the bottom of the Persian Gulf."
So embarrassing. It's just a fucking national humiliation listening to these people.
Like, oh, what the fuck?
Yeah, and remember, for the first week. Well, no, go ahead. Keep going.
What the fuck? So anyway, they refilled it. Immediately algae. And they were like, oh, that's residual algae coming from the pipes. And we were like, does residual algae blanket the entire bottom of the reflecting pool that way?
It's a shallow thing of water that sits in the sun all day, and they really just thought it's like, well, we just do whatever, and it just won't grow back. And it's like, actually, no, it will.
It's not how it works. They also immediately the paint started peeling off the bottom of the pool. Then they were like, "Oh, we have to kill the algae." So they started pouring bottles of hydrogen peroxide into it. Was it
Now,
hydrogen
did the
peroxide?
paint start peeling before or after the hydrogen peroxide?
I'm not sure. It
I was
seems
under
like
the
it was
impression that when they started trying to fix it, that's
that's
when
what
the
the
paint
paint.
started to peel.
Yeah, it seems that way. But it was honestly, it was all happening so fast. It's like
I know
it
this was like
really
all in the span of like a week. They just reopened it and fucking destroyed it at the same time. It's like,
it
wow.
really is like if I didn't hate them so much, I might feel bad for them because it's very much like when, you're standing in your kitchen and something falls on you and that something was by something else and then all of a sudden a bunch of shit is falling on top of you and you're like, "Oh my god, I can't stop it." Like, what's happening? It was like just it was all bad. So they started pouring hydrogen peroxide or hydrogen something. It was peroxide, right? I'm not really sure.
Yeah, I'm
The
pretty sure.
bo-
It was. I think it was peroxide, but still.
but only like a couple of gallons. Like there's just like not nearly enough to like do what it needed to do.
I mean, it was killing the algae at the edges, and then there was just like a big glump of it in the middle.
Yeah. And then ducks started dying. Uh so people started flocking to the reflecting pool because obviously this is a hilarious story. And they wanted to get pictures of the damage. So people are there taking pictures, and then I guess like a cyclist, a former it was like an Olympian cyclist, like stuck his hand in the water to like
Well,
touch the paint.
he was an Olympian. He was an Olympian canoeist, but he
Canoeist.
was out on a bike ride.
Right. Stuck his hand in the water to touch the paint, and then suddenly was he arrested or given a ticket?
No, he was arrested.
He was arrested, that's right. So then and then like a 16-year-old girl or a 17-year-old girl was there and she touched the paint and she got a ticket and they installed security cameras with AI technology to get the vandalizers who were touching the paint chips because everybody's like, why the fuck is it peeling? This is weird. 5 people were arrested for vandalizing it. They've blamed Obama for the imaginary vandals, and I was telling Ogre that somebody that I know started this rumor on a satire site, and it got picked up by the right wing. It became one of their most successful stories in history, and then suddenly Trump was saying that people were vandalizing the pool. So it very well may have come from the liberal satire site, which I think is even funnier.
Yeah, Trump is insisting that one of the people arrested was the one who they gouged a 250-foot line in the pool, and then he started saying it's 300 feet. And of course, the problem with that is the reflecting pool has a 24/7 camera on it.
All the time before this.
Yeah, so this isn't they're installing extra security cameras, but they already had
Yeah.
cameras pointed at it, and if that had happened,
We would have seen it.
we would know about it, and it was like, okay. And he's like, oh well, we'll show the evidence at the trial. And it's like, so no, you won't, because if you actually had video of someone sabotaging the pool, they would have blared it all over Fox News 24/7 as the radical left and is attacking America. They would never stop showing that footage. They would show it like it was the attack on the fucking Capitol, because it would be the worst attack on America in history. My God, someone sliced a bit of the pool, but that didn't happen. That never
Well,
happened.
no, but I did see a video of like the Beast in a motorcade driving through the pool, and I was like, is this real?
Oops.
Did he actually drive through the reflecting pool?
He definitely did not.
I was like, because that's crazy.
No, that would be very, very bad for the car. Secret Service would never allow it.
It's like, no, not when it was in water, when it was after it was filled or when it was drained.
Oh, eh.
I'm gonna Google. Let me Google
No, there's
because
no way that's real because why would you do that? What would even be
well,
the point?
are you really asking why Trump would do something?
And even that, I mean, they would have to set up ramps to get the car into the
No,
pool.
it's true. Trump's motorcade did drive through the reflecting pool. It was on CNN.
You've got to be fucking kidding me.
Yes, President Donald Trump's motorcade drove through the Lincoln reflecting pool. The incident happened in May 2026 while it was drained for renovations. Trump took an unannounced trip to inspect the new protective coating he had ordered applied.
And they drove it through the pool.
The motorcade drove directly across the newly coated bottom of the pool. And then he stepped out of his SUV to speak to reporters. So, guys, now I'm not an expert, but is it possible that perhaps the motorcade caused the alleged gouge?
Oh my god, it's just I can't even with these people. It's not you. How do you satirize these people?
so unbelievable that we didn't believe it actually happened. So, anyways, at least 9 other people have been given citations for like touching the paint or
Putting their
whatever.
hand in the water and blah
It
blah blah.
reminds me of Finding Nemo where they're like, he's like, the dad's like, Nemo, don't you touch that boat. And he's like, I'm gonna touch the butt. So anyway, so Trump, just to break it down, Trump said he was gonna fix a problem. He then gave money to his friends. His friend was enriched to the tune of $14 million, made the pool worse, and is now blaming everyone except himself. Trump is blaming everyone except himself in the incompetent people he hired. And now he's abusing the rule of law to punish people who didn't actually commit a crime. And when this goes to court, I suspect it's going to be a lot like that Subway sandwich situation.
Yeah, they're gonna be like, get the fuck out. No, go away. And they should. The people that are getting arrested should sue. It's like
Absolutely.
that's insane. I can't
Maybe
put
they
my
can
hand in
get
the
some of the
water.
trust fund.
Yeah, I can't put my hand in the water. Why? Since
Oh,
when?
oh, and just to top this all off, I did see a report today that the reflecting pool is starting to smell.
I mean, it's filled with algae. How could it not eventually start to smell?
It's gonna smell just like that one that's outside of Congress. That one smells really bad,
He literally turned it into a swamp.
which is hilarious.
But, yeah, and that is a microcosm of the entire Trump regime. They make a problem, wreck everything, throw a ton of our money at it. A whole bunch of Trump's friends gets rich, and then when everything falls apart, they start, using the rule of law to make people not talk about it or not take pictures or not report on it, or they just start arresting people because it's just fascism 101, right? It's the law for thee, not for me. And it's just I mean, it's just a perfect encapsulation of everything that Trump has been doing for the last 18 months.
It's so funny. Well, moving on to another embarrassing story for the Trump regime. So I don't know if you guys remember, but we predicted that the right and the regime was going to blame JD Vance for the shitty Iran deal. And it appears that we are now right about that.
Shocker.
This is from The Atlantic. After having claimed that Iran's missiles and nuclear efforts are existential risks to American interests, most hawks will have trouble bringing themselves to call the deal that leaves the programs intact as a great victory. Republicans who have too much self respect to reverse themselves so nakedly have a fallback plan. Pretend that the defeat was Vance's doing.
Wow. It's like, my God, that's just, I mean, who didn't see that coming a mile away? Oh, wait, we did. We saw that.
Yes, we did. Just the latest version of Florida Woman and the Opinionated Ogre called it. So, quote, conservatives on the Hill are stunned that Vance would erase all of Trump's military victories in such a terrible deal. Trump effectively won the war, and at the 11th hour, Vance is negotiating his way to a loss.
Oh, my fucking God.
One unnamed congressional Republican told News Nation's Kelly Meyer. The conservative commentator Ben Shapiro, Mr. Wet Ass Pussy himself, or I'm sorry, Mr. Has never made his wife's pussy wet, claimed, quote, the vice president of the United States, the chief negotiator on this particular project, has not well served the president. And then on Fox News, Brian Kilmeade tentatively suggested, quote, I just wonder if the vice president, who was against this, by all reports was against the conflict to begin with, maybe he wasn't the right person to bring this conflict to an end. Now, let's all take a breath here and remember JD Vance has no fucking power. If the Trump regime didn't like the plan that was negotiated, it wouldn't be the plan. Because,
exactly.
Again, Vance has no fucking power. I think that what happened here is that Trump was pissed off that Vance was against the war and telling donors and everybody privately that he thought it was a bad idea. So they were like, let's just throw him to the wolves. I mean, hell, he tried to have his first vice president hung on the steps of the Capitol.
Exactly.
So it's not too far to think that maybe he just wanted to blame Vance for this. Also, I think that Vance is so funny. If he ever thought that he was going to be the heir to the throne for the Trump regime or for MAGA, he was never, ever, ever going to be Trump's heir.
I mean, he's still just hoping that Trump dies sometime in the next 2 years so he can declare himself emperor.
Yeah. And, Trump didn't like Vance. The only reason that Vance was made vice president is because big tech wanted Vance. Peter Thiel wanted Vance. So it's not like these two were bros. It was just another situation where people were telling Trump, like, this guy should be your vice president. And if there's one thing about Trump, it's that he hates being told what to do. He's like my 7-year-old with ODD.
Yeah, Chiwi points out that Trump actually said on camera, if it goes well, Trump said this. If it goes well, I'm going to take I'm going to take credit for it, and if it goes badly, well, we're going to blame Vance.
It's crazy.
But I mean, if the deal goes the way it's supposed to go, we lost. Like we didn't get into this whole thing about, but we lost this fight. And we have to give them, Iran, pretty much whatever they want because Trump needs this to end. He has to have this war end well before the midterms, right? If it happens, if it doesn't end within 2 to 3 months of midterms, people are going to remember. 5 months out, people will forget, right? Trump will just flood the zone with so much other shit. People are going to forget, oh, yeah, that's right. Weren't we in a war a couple of months ago? Whatever. I don't care. I have this worry about now. But if the war is still going or they haven't finished negotiations and the strait is still closed in like August or September, people are going to fucking remember that because it's only a few months away from the elections. So he needs this to end now, which is why he's giving them everything they want. And we're not getting anything out of it because we can't compel them to take the deal that we want because we lost, which he'll never admit, and the press won't really report it that way, but that's what happened. Now, this brings us to the other thing that we predicted. Israel is trying as hard as possible to keep this war going. They do not want it to end. And they're becoming a huge fucking problem for Trump. Like, Trump's already been on the phone cursing and screaming at Netanyahu. And at this point, it's not clear that Netanyahu's going to keep listening. They're furious that they were not part of the negotiations. But how could they be? They don't want the war to end, and the only acceptable outcome for them is a crippled Iran, which cannot happen. We can't do that. I mean, we could if we escalated to a full-scale invasion, we could cripple Iran. Doesn't necessarily mean we could topple the regime, but we could cripple them with a full-scale invasion that would cost thousands of American lives and trillions of dollars. It could be done. I know everyone's just like, oh, the United States military isn't that powerful. It's like, yeah, yes and no. We didn't commit to a full war, which is why we lost.
We really are that powerful. I hate to tell you.
And I'm not saying that we should do this. I'm saying if we really wanted to go in there and stomp Iran, we could do it. But it would be the price to do so. I mean, we would be looking at the entire 20 years.
It would be Iraq all over again.
Right, but it would be worse because we would lose that many people and have to spend that much money in a much much shorter window of time. Because, Iraq, we stopped on it, and then we lost a lot of people over the course of 20 years through terrorist attacks. That would not be the case in Iran. That would be, we would go in and we would lose a whole lot of people very, very quickly.
Actually, the most deaths in Iraq happened in the very, very beginning when we were fighting. In the very beginning.
I thought it was mostly from like IEDs and shit like that.
Yeah, but like IEDs from like the government, I think. And it happened like because my friend died in 2004 within months of his deployment. Like literally, and then up until when my brother was in, it was like peak war in like 2010. It was early on, not later in the war.
Yeah, but attacking Iran would be so much worse. Not for nothing, our military is not prepared to fight off drone attacks. We just aren't.
I mean, the thing is like it's different these days. We didn't have, they had IEDs, but yeah, they didn't have drones. And Iran is like experts at drone fighting.
Right. And they're also already well armed. Like the Iraqi army was trash. The Iranian army is probably not nearly as trash.
Yeah, it's definitely not something that we want to do.
But, we don't want to do that. And Trump definitely doesn't want to do that. Like, he's not committed to this enough to go for a full ground invasion, get a whole lot of Americans killed, and guarantee that people are fucking, absolutely enraged at him for getting us in another war that's going to take us years and years to get out of. So they're going to give Iran what they want, and Israel does not want that at all, which is why they keep attacking Lebanon and seizing territory, right? Because, again, all of this had nothing to do with security for Israel. This was Israel's far-right government using this as an excuse to expand territory.
Did you hear what, like, one of them said recently, one of the members of the far-right government said recently about killing?
Yeah. This is what I'm saying. It's like I forget the exact way he phrased it, but it was like, we're just going to keep killing people in Lebanon because they want it. They want to take that territory and they don't give a shit. Like, they're telling us what they're doing. And this is not.
It always just strikes me as like so disgusting that Israel was formed after the, horrors of the Holocaust. And, 80 years later, here they are. Here the far-right Israeli government, the Netanyahu people are just committing genocide.
They're just going in the same footsteps in the same way because
and I'm why not? It's so gross. And I don't know if you know this, but I'm sure that you've been to the Holocaust Museum, but I went to the Holocaust Museum in the town where your father lives.
Mm-hmm.
And they talked about how um, nobody would help Israel, or not Israel, I'm sorry, nobody would help the Jews during the Holocaust except for some of the Muslim nations. And then here you have it 80 years later where we're just like killing Muslims. It's so gross.
So now there's some questions about how much control Iran has over Hezbollah, and they're like they're the puppets of Iran, but not fully. Like Hezbollah is going to keep fighting if Hezbollah wants to keep fighting, but it doesn't matter what Hezbollah is doing. Israel is still attacking, and a part of that is they want it. They want the territory, but also they don't want this war to end, and they know this is the best way to keep the fighting going. And like Iran closed the strait again. They closed the Strait of Hormuz again. It was starting to be reopened. It was starting to let some ships through, like 20 a day, which is a far cry from the 150 to 200 a day that we're going through. And yet now it's closed again. I don't know if it's been reopened, right? This is like a couple of days ago. I haven't heard anything about being reopened because we can't get Israel under control, which we kind of can't because we don't own Israel. We don't control Israel. They're going to do what they're going to do, and Trump is going to have to apply a lot more fucking pressure, which he doesn't want to do because that will piss off the evangelicals who see Israel as their golden ticket to the rapture and the return of Jesus. They need this war too.
The
So
return of
Trump,
white Jesus, though.
yeah, Trump's in a really, really tight spot here. He needs the war to end, but if he puts too much pressure on Israel, his Israel loving, they still hate Jews, but they love Israel because it's their way to start wars in the Middle East. The evangelicals that Trump absolutely needs are going to start being mad at him. And if they sit home, if even 10% of them sit home during the midterms, it's not, I mean, Jesus Christ, I don't even have it's like a biblical word at this point. Like, what are the words you use for what that would look like?
Jesus Christ. No pun intended, guys.
So, but we said Israel is going to keep doing this because they can't, well, never mind Netanyahu wants to stay out of prison. They started this war specifically to break Iran, and now they've left Iran in a more powerful position, which will be devastating for the entire right-wing government. It's like, look what you did, and they can't afford that. So here we go.
Well, on to my favorite segment, headlines for short attention spans. Oh, it's me first.
But wait, hold on. TV has a good joke there. He's between the dome of the rock and a hard place. But thank you very much. Nice one.
Oh, hold on. Gosh, good lord.
Edit yawns.
So the most corrupt Supreme Court in history has decided that not all religions matter. I am shocked.
Lee gasp. Lee gasp, I say.
I know that you guys are super surprised too. So Damon Lander, a Rastafarian in Louisiana, was suing the state for cutting off his dreadlocks. Guards had handcuffed him to a chair and shaved his head weeks before he completed a 5-month stint for drug offenses. And I'm assuming that since it was 5 months, it wasn't a very serious drug offense.
I know he probably had like a joint on him, and he wasn't white, so off to jail with you.
Oh, I don't know why I'm yawning, guys. I'm so sorry. It must have been all that talk about Trump.
Well, he is
killed
exhausting.
my brain. It is exhausting for sure. So, Lander sued, and a federal appeals court agreed that the guards had violated the Religious Land Use and Institutionalized Persons Act, a religious freedom law. And the Trump regime actually sided with Lander's lawsuit, probably because they wanted to protect Christians. It's the whole slippery slope thing.
And it's really hard to just say, well, you know, this religion's bad, but this religion's okay. It's hard to parse that. Like even for them, it's
Right.
hard to say, well, actually we only meant this law for Christians, not for everyone else. It's like, yeah, that's not going to cut it.
And actually, the right loves to get involved in these fights for other religions just so that they can be like, see, guys, see, we care about them all. Well, apparently, the conservatives on the Supreme Court did not get the message. Because in a 6-3 ruling along party lines, they ruled against Lander for the most bizarre reason, though. Gorsuch wrote for the majority and said, quote, Mr. Lander does not allege that any of those individuals has entered any agreement with the federal government, let alone that any of them has voluntarily and knowingly consented to answer private suits under the RLUIPA, the
Which is
law.
like, when I read that, I was like, what the fuck did they just say? It's you have to agree
Well, it's funny
to a
that you
law
say
now.
that because Justice Jackson was like, the fuck?
Yeah, her dissent was like, yeah, exactly. Go ahead.
And she wrote for the liberals on the court stating, quote, today's decision magically transforms a federal statute into an invitation to be accepted or declined, deemed binding only if each particular defendant has explicitly agreed to be penalized, no matter the laws, as opposed to contracts. Or no matter that laws, as opposed to contracts, don't ordinarily work that way. Yeah, because what have we all heard? Ignorance of the law is not an excuse
Unless you're a cop.
unless you're a cop
Only the cops can get away with that. For everyone else, the
or a
law is the
prison
law.
or a prison guard, apparently.
They're
So,
they're unfucking believable. I mean, there's the legitimacy of this court is just non-existent at this
well,
point.
what I would like to know is, are they going to have the same energy?
Speaking of not having energy,
Seriously, are they going to have the same energy if, say, I don't know, a guard takes a Christian Bible and rips it up?
oh, see, that would just be not allowed. That's an attack on religion, and the only religion that counts, of course. So,
That's right. That's right.
all
My
right,
bad.
let's move on. Trump is not campaigning. Shock! I know you haven't seen him on TV all the time campaigning. Of course, this one has to wonder, where's Jake Tapper to scream about Trump's health and lack of energy and blah, blah, blah. Trump had promised, and I was praying for this. This is one of the things I wrote back last year, and I was like, please let him do this. He had promised that he was going to be all over the campaign trail to help Republicans in the midterms, which I had specifically said he's either going to not campaign at all and people are going to start asking questions about his health, or they're going to push him to campaign constantly, which is going to kill him because
Yeah.
he's not physically fit for it.
We talked about this on the pod, actually.
Yeah.
We were like, there's no way he's going to be able to do it.
And ta-da, he's only made 12 campaign stops in 5 months, even though he
Woo!
apparently was supposed to going to be doing this once a week. And yet, where's Jake Tapper's book about Trump's health? Why are we not talking about that?
I think Jake Tapper is really upset about Jill Biden's book right now, so he can't.
He's far too busy. Yeah, he just can't do it right now. He's busy.
He's like, Dr. Jill.
Is she really a doctor, though?
Is she really a doctor? Are PhDs really doctors? Well, on to Republicans hating children. So millions have lost access to food because of the GOP's MAGA murder budget, proving that no one hates children more than a pro-life Republican. Now, as you know, the GOP liberated American children from their food in celebration of the nation's birthday last year by implementing work requirements to eat. they also lowered the age for parents. Like before, parents who had underage children, like some mothers who had underage children, weren't required to get a job, but now that's no longer the case. I think it cuts off at 14.
They're unbelievable.
And what, because apparently 14-year-olds don't need parents, but we are talking about the GOP who wants to marry those 14-year-olds, so whatever.
Yeah, well, they would leave them free for Matt Gaetz to show up and like, hey, baby, what's up? Are your parents home?
Ew, it's so gross. We only laugh because we're so disgusted. Um, so the Center for Budget and Policy Priorities found that the number of people receiving SNAP fell by 4 million nationwide in the last year. In Arizona, the participation in the program dropped by a staggering 53%. 20% in Florida, 21% in Louisiana, and on and on and on. Only 13 states have provided data on the number of kids who lost food assistance. And that number is shocking just with 13 states. It's 808,000 kids for 13 states.
Which means it's way over 1 million for the rest of the country. Way over 1 million.
Way over. Maybe even 2 million.
Yep.
It's no wonder that states aren't in any hurry to share how many tiny humans how many tiny humans are going to bed hungry because of their fucking bill. As we always say, there's no hate quite like Republican love.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Now, speaking of the pro-life GOP, the regime is killing millions of South Africans infected with HIV.
Shocking.
The U.S. President's Emergency Plan for AIDS Relief, which is known as PEPFAR, was actually one of the most successful global programs, and it was implemented by a Republican. George Bush launched it in 2003. And
W.
Bush. Yeah, and it has literally saved millions of lives. This is like one of the few things you can look at Bush and say, well, he was a monster, but he did this.
Killed millions, saved millions. I guess it all washes.
Yeah, now it was one of the things with Bush is that he was very, very aware of the spread of like global pandemics, right? And while HIV's not that kind of pandemic, it's like you don't just walk by people and you catch it like you can COVID. He was aware that if you keep diseases from spreading in other countries, that makes it way less likely that they're going to get back here. He understood that. As dumb as he is, he understood that. And he was very, very serious about it. Now, Trump, on the other hand, and his regime hate saving lives, especially brown ones. So he decided he would no longer contribute money to the effort in South Africa. This is the same country he's accepting white refugees from because they're totally discriminated against by the mean black people that they spent decades oppressing. In this case, what the discrimination means is that they're no longer allowed to oppress the black people. That's why all these white South Africans are like, I'm a victim. Who's going to clean my house?
Because South Africa was like, hey, there's not that many of you, but you seem to own like all of the land.
Yeah, why are you in control of everything, and why do you have all the money and the rest of us are living in dirt poor and we're living like your slaves? Yeah, we're going to stop that. And now the white South Africans are like, I'm the victim. Okay. Now, there's over 8 million people living with, is it HIV or AIDS?
AIDS.
Actual AIDS. So it's advanced to AIDS in South Africa, which means there's a lot more with HIV that hasn't progressed to AIDS yet. And that's the most of any nation on the planet. And Trump has just decided to pull funding from South Africa because of alleged white persecution. Also, they're mad because South Africa is pushing a genocide case against Israel in the International Court of Justice. So this is going to kill millions of people, and it's going to allow the spread of HIV to millions of more people who will then die, and children will be born with it, and they will die, et cetera, et cetera. It's in millions. We're talking millions of people. And it's important to note, now that we've mentioned, genocide in Israel, it's important to note that the Gaza crowd, right? The people who
I just Googled, and it's 8 million people are living with both. So they didn't break it down.
So it's important to note that the Gaza crowd, these are the people who the most important thing in the world is to stop the genocide in Gaza, which has killed maybe 70,000, probably closer to like 120, because, I'm sure the count is vastly undercounted. But it's important to note that these people, the one who've made it their entire personality, aren't saying a fucking word. And it's been a year now. Our own government has murdered millions of people in drought and famine stricken countries just in the last 12 months. Not thousands, not tens of thousands, not even hundreds of thousands, millions of fucking people, most of them children. That's what our government has done.
Hey guys, we're committing genocide too.
But you don't hear a fucking word about this from the Gaza crowd, right? Gaza is a red line litmus test for Democrats, but they can't seem to say anything at all about what Republicans have done. They've murdered on a vastly larger scale. And if you can't explain to me why what Israel's doing in Gaza is morally more reprehensible than what your own government is doing in other parts of the world that have killed 10 times, 20 times, 100 times more people, you have a problem there. Like, your moral compass is all kinds of fucked up. Not that Gaza isn't important, but if you make that the only thing in your personality, but you don't want to talk about what Republicans are doing because there's no Democrats involved in this. You cannot blame these millions of people dead on Democrats. And if you can't do that, you don't want to talk about it, that seems like a huge fucking problem. And that tells me it's not really about Gaza. It's a convenient weapon to use. Because, again, if it's a red line litmus test, but not ending the government that literally just murdered over 1 million people and it's going to kill a couple of million more in the next few years, our government, if you can't do anything about that, but you can get really mad at Democrats for taking AIPAC money, that's a problem. You're not putting your priorities anywhere near where they need to be if you're talking about saving lives. So I get really, really suspicious when I hear that type of shit. It makes me wonder what the fuck you're doing and why you're doing it. So, all right, let's move on.
Well, so it turns out that when you put a Fox News host with white supremacist tattoos in charge of the military, things don't go very well. I know that's a surprise to everyone. What?
How can that possibly be?
So 2 months ago, Secretary Warmonger Pete Hegseth got rid of the whole woke flu vaccine mandate for recruits in the military, for the whole military, but for recruits too. And now there's a massive flu outbreak at Lackland Air Force Base in Texas that has impacted over 220 trainees. People who are there for literal basic training and can't get out of bed because they have the flu. And, I don't know if anybody's had the flu. Like, I know a lot of people have had colds and sometimes they think it's the flu, but like the actual flu is debilitating.
I've had the flu once as an adult.
I've had it once in my entire life. And I literally tried to go to college to take an exam and couldn't put my pants on after a week.
No, the flu is not just, it's just a nasty cold. It's like, no, it's a little more than that. And there's a reason that people die from it.
Yeah, I was 25 years old. My mom forced me to eat. She's like, yeah, you're going to die if you don't eat. It's like, it's not that serious. So anyway, now imagine 220 military trainees getting it. Crazy. So Hegseth previously characterized the flu shot as the flu shot mandate, which has been around since 1945, by the way, as, quote, absurd, overreaching mandates that only weaken our warfighting capabilities. Because apparently getting the flu makes you a better warfighter. When you're shitting your pants, you are definitely more able to fight.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Well, hilariously, the Army, Navy, and Air Force have now reversed Hegseth's reversal. and
Reverse,
they
reverse,
yeah, and they
reverse.
put
Sorry.
the flu vaccine mandate for recruits back in place.
Well, there's one way to cure the flu: raw milk.
Oh, that's right.
That's it. Just have them all drink raw milk, and it'll be fine. They'll be fine. It'll be great.
That's true. That's true. They need to, or maybe they need to snort some cocaine off of a toilet seat.
All right. Let us start wrapping up headlines with some good news. Back in January, the regime issued several subpoenas to Minnesota officials, Governor Tim Walz, Attorney General Keith Ellison, the mayor of Minneapolis, Jacob Fry, and a bunch of other people
Wait
who
a
were.
second. Were these subpoenas about the murder of two a lawmaker and her husband and dog, and then the shooting of two others?
Oh, I've never heard about that at all. That doesn't count. That just doesn't exist anymore.
Oh,
Political violence on the right doesn't matter, so we don't talk about it.
oh, my bad. Sorry, my
Sorry,
bad.
sorry. If
Oh,
you keep talking about it, you might get a visit because you sound like Antifa.
oh, don't want to get arrested and put in prison for the rest of my life like those people in Texas.
So now they were suing. The Minnesota officials were suing to block Stephen Miller's Gestapo from running rampant and killing Americans and doing all the other stuff.
Oh,
But a federal judge said, yeah, no, fuck that, and threw it all out. This is from CBS. U.S. District Judge Patrick Schlitz found that the Justice Department issued the subpoenas to coerce Minnesota officials into cooperating with immigration enforcement after those officials sued to block Operation Metro Surge. In his ruling, Schlitz wrote that using grand jury proceedings to pressure political opponents into taking official action, particularly action the federal government cannot directly require, is, quote, a blatantly unlawful and ethical use of the grand jury process. The only question then is whether the challenge subpoenas were issued for one of those forbidden purposes, Schlitz wrote. The court has no doubt that they were. And that's correct, right? And it's not like they were hiding it, right? That's one of the things about the regime. They don't even try to pretend that they're doing things legitimately. They just know they're just openly being fascist. And the courts have been an enormous stumbling block for the fascist regime and their agenda. So it's all but guaranteed that once this is over and we go back to the rule of law and we start purging all of these people out of government, it's all but guaranteed the federal society is going to redouble its efforts to fill the judiciary with pro-fascist judges.
yeah.
They put in judges who were pro-unitary executive, which is proto-fascism, sort of fascism, but not real open fascists, where they would be like, oh yeah, no, the regime can abuse the law in all these different ways, yada, yada, yada. And the federal society is going to look at that and go, we have to change our strategy. We need people who are just pro fucking fascism. That
Yeah.
when they make these rulings, they will always rule in favor of fascism. And the regime, for its part, desperately wants to declare that all court orders they disagree with can be ignored. There's a risk with that, though, and they know it. That means if/when Democrats take power, they can do the same thing, and all the courts with their FedSoc judges, those are the only things protecting Republicans from extinction and life sentences in prison. So they want to do it, but they know it's a huge fucking risk to do it.
Well, speaking of prisons, Alligator Auschwitz is done.
Oh,
Thank God. This is from CBS News. Quote, companies hired by the state to operate the Florida immigration facility known as Alligator Alcatraz were notified Monday morning to begin full demobilization of the facility, quietly bringing an it I'm not even doing it. quietly bringing a close to the $1.2 billion experiment that
Yeah, that
had.
is an awkward, ignominious.
We're not even doing it. It's not happening. I'll just keep my erogenous, to myself. So, anyways, to close to close a $1.2 billion experiment that had been once hailed by Governor Ron DeSantis and President Donald Trump as a model other states should pursue. So, just really quickly, my husband recently went to the embassy, his country's embassy down in Miami, and he met somebody who was in this concentration camp.
Oof.
And he was in there for 8 months. He was a green card holder who was there for 8 months. And his family had to spend $20,000 to get him out. And he's still fighting deportation. 8 months.
He's lucky he's alive.
And the reason, yes, and the reason that it was so horrific down there, except first of all, it was in the middle of the Everglades. In the middle of the Everglades, truly right next to a park that is a Florida panther refugee, or refugee, for fuck's sakes, a Florida panther refuge. There was no infrastructure here, like no running water, no toilets, nothing. In the middle of the swamp on an old airstrip. It was rushed open. It quickly turned into a humanitarian disaster. There was not enough food, and the food that was there was rotten. Like I said, there was not enough clean water, and the facilities were not fit for human habitation. And I'm telling you, because I've been there down in that area. I've passed this airstrip every single time I go to Miami. I pass it because I take the road. It's one of the main roads in our state. I take that road to get there because I don't want to pay tolls on Alligator Alley because I'm cheap. This is it's a desolate area. It's desolate. And putting people out there with no supplies, with no food, with no clean water, with no like toilets was horrific. And that's exactly what they wanted to do. Just like Joe Arpaio in the early 2000s with his ketchup packets and pink prison uniforms in Maricopa County, Arizona, they wanted immigrants to suffer because they want people to suffer because they don't view immigrants as real people. We know that several hundred people were illegally kidnapped and sent there are still missing. Like, we haven't heard anything about them. They just vanished.
Yeah,
We
we don't
don't
know if
know.
they've been deported. We don't
We
know
don't.
if they've been buried in a mass grave. They're just gone.
Gone. Gone. Um, and don't think for a second the real function of Stephen Miller's network of camps was anything other than to kill everyone in them. Like I said, the cruelty was the point. They want immigrants to die. They don't view immigrants as people. You know this because of how they talk about them. They talk about immigrants the same way that they talk about black people, like they're animals who don't deserve to live.
And that's one of the reasons they wanted all those warehouses, because there'll be black boxes. You won't be able to see what's happening inside. There won't be any way to know what they're doing. And if thousands of people start disappearing, well, sorry, we don't know what happened to the paperwork. Yeah, never mind. Go away. We're not answering any questions, and go ahead and try to get the courts to make us tell.
And
We'll just delete. We'll just burn everything. We'll burn all the paperwork. We'll delete all the files, and then you can't get anything.
and frankly, the media is just as much to blame for this as them, because I live in Florida. I live 3 hours away from this site, okay? And I thought it was closed months ago because they've reported that it was like closed. I think I
Yep.
even said it on the show. So the fact that it's just now being emptied and we haven't heard anything about it is.
All right. Let us move on to our last bit of good news. Trump is pushing hard against the Sarah Palin floor. The Sarah Palin floor, if you do not recall, was that percentage of the United States that would support Trump if they showed video of him raping a 10-year-old while shooting a puppy. They would still say, well, he's doing it for good reason because he's the anointed by God.
Right.
Right? They just
It's the people who would support him if he shot somebody in Times Square.
yeah, they just won't abandon him. But he's doing so much damage to the economy, and even though gas prices are dropping, they're still high, and so's the price of everything else. This is from the American Research Group. This is a poll they did. A total of 30% of Americans say they approve of the way Donald Trump is handling his job as president, and 66% say they disapprove of the way Donald Trump is handling his job, according to the latest survey. 31% of Americans approve, and it's about the same. All right. In June 2018, 40% approved and 54% disapproved. When it comes to the economy, Trump's handling of the economy, that number is 26% approve and 70 disapprove. Okay. Back in June 2018, that number was 41% approved of Trump handling the economy. So these numbers are absolutely unsurvivable. Absolutely unsurvivable. And we thought the Sarah Palin floor was going to be like 35, 37%, and he's at 30% now. And again, we keep telling you this. We still have not gotten to the economic collapse that's coming. Like, the economy is teetering on the brink, and it's going over that cliff. And when it goes, like when the tech bubble pops, when the bank bubble pops, one of those things is going to happen. And when that happens, the economy that's already struggling is going to go poof. And that 30% that is approving of him is going to drop even lower, because when you don't have food on the table and you don't have a job, you're only going to be persuaded so much by Trump going on TV telling you how much he hates black people and women. So the problem for them is that it makes it impossible to steal the midterms. I keep saying this, and we keep talking about this. Stolen elections have to be plausible. No one's going to believe Trump won in swing states or Republicans kept control of the House with these kinds of numbers. The Supreme Court could step in, but they wouldn't be putting a thumb on the scale to keep Republicans in power. It would have to body slam it in order to make Republicans not lose control of the House. And at this point, it's increasingly looking like the Senate. And the Supreme Court is trying very, very hard not to burn what little is left of their credibility. The 6 Republicans on there need to maintain some of their credibility, because if Democrats get in charge, the first thing they're going to do is, you guys are completely legitimate, we're expanding the court, fuck yourself. And they don't want that. They need to be seen as legitimate. And stealing an election like that would just be the end of it, because it would have to be so over the top that even Republicans would be like, damn, yay for us. Woo! We just stole that election. They wouldn't even be pretending that they won it. They would know, everyone would know that it was just pure, straight illegitimate. All right. That wraps up our headline. So let us move on to self-care of the week.
Yay. So this week was Father's Day. Happy Father's Day. Belated Father's Day to all the dads out there and the moms who are doing the dad's job. We spent it by driving up to our son's apartment at his off-campus apartment, and I cooked dinner for my husband so that he could have dinner with his children. Aww. Now, it's so funny because we got up there, and then me and my son's girlfriend decided to go to the store. We decided to go to Sprouts. If you have a Sprouts in your area, I highly recommend going. They have a lot of really good 99-cent deals, and it's a health food store.
I think one's opening in our area
Oh,
soon.
it is, and I'm so excited for you. Because listen, I go there to get snacks every week for Aiden because they have, like I said, they have things marked down to like 99 cents. So I got, I got like, you know, those pretzel chip things? They're like pretzels, but they're flat. They
Yeah,
look
yeah.
like chips. I get him like tons of bags for 99 cents. I got him, um, all kinds of stuff. It's just like, you never know. I got him beef jerky, like the Chomps ones, the like really high quality ones, 99 cents.
Nice.
And it's not going out of date or anything. It's just it's such a small store that they rotate their stock. So to put up new stuff, they have to just get rid of the other stuff, and they just mark it down. It's a
Uh,
really good store. I love it. So, anyways, his girlfriend and I went to Sprouts. And you should never send two people with ADHD to the store and expect them to come back with dinner on short notice. So we went there with a plan that we were going to make chicken shawarma, like, you know, Middle Eastern food. And we had all of the stuff. And oh, you know, the other cool thing about Sprouts is they sell bulk spices. So, like, you just open the spices and put it into a bag if you want it,
oh,
and
nice.
just pay for like an ounce of the spice. So we were like doing all the spices and doing this, and we're like into it, right? We have all of this stuff in the cart. And then I was like, okay, wait, we have to go get something for Nathan because Nathan's never going to eat this, our youngest son. And we go over and we see this chicken. It's like antibiotic free chicken that they grill there in the store, and it's already done. And I go, huh. And I looked at her and I was like, should we? And she goes, yeah, definitely. So we just put the chicken in there. Then we had to go put all of the other stuff back. But we felt a little bad about the spices, so we just bought those anyways. And instead of like this big elaborate dinner, we ended up just eating like grilled chicken with salad. We literally were going to we were like, oh, we can roast carrots. And then we pull into like the apartment complex where they live, and she looked at me and she goes, are you gonna roast carrots? I was like, absolutely not. We're just eating salad and chicken. Fortunately, Alex loves salad and chicken. Mr. Florida woman loves salad and chicken, so he was good. um Something else that's happening this week is that my oldest is retaking his MCAT. So if you guys could send him good vibes, that would be nice. We are very much sick of the MCAT in our house. We haven't seen him for essentially a year because he took it last summer. And when he took it last summer, he got a really high score, 511 out of 527.
And that wasn't enough?
No. He
Nerd.
said I need just like 3 more points, mom, and then all of these other schools open up for me. And he would really like to go to Johns Hopkins, um, or NYU or something that has free tuition because his goal has always been to graduate college with the least amount of debt he can. And as you know,
Good goal.
physicians, yeah, I mean, he'll leave his undergrad degree with 0 debt.
Nice.
Yeah. So he's retaking the MCAT this week. This time, like last time he took it, he was very in his head. Um this time he seems more confident, and I think that because I think he's neurodivergent. I've talked about this before, but he just makes it work for him. Like
Hmm.
if I had to guess, I would say he's like level 1 autism, but I'm not a doctor. So, and he said that he said whatever I am, I make it work for me. So, I'm like, okay, that's legit. Just as long as you know it's there, honey. Um, so he was very like, and as you know, with like stuff with that, they hyper focus, kids hyper focus on something. So he tends to get really stressed out and have like a lot of anxiety. But then once he does something once, he's more comfortable with it. So I'm hoping that he gets his 3 points. Cause I don't know if I could handle him going, I gotta take it again.
It's like,
And honestly, I don't know if his girlfriend can handle that either. Because she is calling herself a single mom with a dependent right now. So anyway, send him good vibes. We're really hoping that he does well so that we can put this chapter behind us. I mean, not that he didn't do well before.
But get to reach what he wants to do.
Right. I mean, and he's very anal. I always say he's my square.
All right. So last week I took Anastasia and Lila to Ocean City, and Lila had taken Anastasia to Ocean City last year. Because we've only been not we, Anastasia and Jordan have only been to like bay beaches, right? Where there's very little in the way of waves. It's very flat. It's very safe. We did that for Jordan, but Anastasia hadn't been to a real beach yet.
Wait, not even when you lived in New York City?
No, we couldn't take Jordan anywhere near a beach.
Oh, well, that's true.
Yeah.
But I didn't know if you just took Anastasia.
No, she was only 4 when we left.
That's right.
So, and
you've been there such a long time.
So, Lila took Anastasia to Ocean City, which is like 2.5 hours away, right? Her and Claudia took Anastasia for a weekend so she could be at a real beach, and she loved it. And I wanted to take the girls this summer before Lila went to college, so they would have one last trip together, because we're not going to have any chance to do any trips while Lila's in college. That's not going to happen. So I figured this would be one last chance for them to spend the time together. Not the only time, they're still going to see each other before Lila leaves, but this would be a really good time to go to the beach, to have them hang out and blah, blah, blah. The weather was not cooperative. It was either raining or kind of chilly, so we didn't get to spend a ton of time at the beach itself, but the girls still went out on the boardwalk. They had a really good time. I sent them out by themselves. The second night, it was too chilly and they were exhausted, so we just stayed in the room and we played games all night, which was also a lot of fun. Like, I got to spend time with my girls, and we had a really good time while we were there. It was expensive. Like, the food there was outrageously expensive. But when we got back, June had made chocolate chip banana muffins for everybody, including us. Like, she made some for Lila and Claudia, but she also made some for us, which we thought was really, really super sweet of her. So now me and Anastasia are going to make pizza from scratch, which I've done once. I didn't make the dough, though. So this time we're going to be making the entire thing with scratch, and we're going to be making a margarita pizza because that's June's favorite.
That's my favorite, too.
Yeah, so June's been away the whole week, which has been driving Lila crazy because she misses her girlfriend. It's the longest they've been apart. But June's going to be back on Friday, so we're going to make pizza Friday night and have June come over for dinner, and we're going to have dinner. We're probably going to be celebrating Claudia's birthday, because I don't think we're going to be doing it tonight. Today's her actual birthday. Happy birthday, Claudia.
Happy birthday, Claudia.
But so we're going to have pizza. We're going to have regular pizza. We're going to have margarita pizza. And, I made a whole bunch of chocolate chip cookies, so we'll have some of those too. And we're hoping it'll be a very nice night. But, that's what we're looking forward to. That's my self-care for the week, is cooking for my girls. So we're looking forward to it. It should be a really nice evening. So anyway, that's it for today's show. The Opinionated Ogre podcast, like the newsletter, is free and 100% supported by you, our amazing audience. We have no advertisers or sponsors yet, so please consider becoming a paid subscriber for only $5 a month or just $50 a year. If you'd prefer a one-time donation, we now have PayPal and Venmo buttons for your convenience.
Oh, Venmo.
Ooh, yes. Please help others join the Ogre Nation conversation by sharing the Og Pod on the social media platform of your choice and giving us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts or wherever you're listening. That is a huge help when you do that. So please take a moment and just give us a 5-star rating.
And maybe leave us a little review.
Yep. All that helps. It gets other people.
Florida woman is the better host.
Yes. Definitely. Definitely 100% on the ball with that. Anyway, you can find me at the Opinionated Ogre on Substack, Blue Sky, and also on TikTok. Florida woman, where can our beloved audience find you?
You guys can find me at Florida Woman Rants on Substack.
Excellent. The next blue wave is coming. The next blue flood, the next blue tsunami, the next great fucking flood is coming because they're stupid and they're just making things worse for themselves at the White House and the Republican Party. And that's just going to make things better for us in the midterms. It's November 3rd, 2026. Just 130 days until we storm the beaches and stomp the Nazis into the dirt. They cannot stop us. Remember, you are never alone. We beat the fascists once, and we will fucking do it again. Adios.
Adios.
All right, everybody. We'll see you next week. Thanks for coming. Bye.